Hello everybody, what is going on? Steggy here with another Retro Haul update. Now this is Retro Haul number 8, and don't worry, this is going to be a little bit shorter than the last time. I know I covered a lot of stuff in the last video, trying to break it up a little bit by making more videos in between the haul so it's not a lot of games. So I got about 6 or 7 games here. It spans over a few different stores that I went hunting at. So the first 2 games I want to go over actually came from the same plaza, but 2 different stores, a pawn shop and then a comic book store. So the first one here comes from Cash Converters, that's now known as Tradeland. I went there looking for some games. I was actually looking for Mario Kart Double Dash. They had that a while back, but they seem to have sold it. But I did run across this with no price tag, so I asked the guy how much, they wanted for it, and they were coming up with a high price, but I showed them some eBay prices. So I got this for $7, which is just barely under what it's going for on eBay. So I got this there. And then the next store over is called Harrison's Comic Book Shop, and they price everything individually, and the prices are really kind of high, but I did come across this NFL Blitz special edition. Now the special edition is a Blockbuster exclusive, so this isn't worth a lot of money as compared to Clay Fighter 64 Sculptor's Cut or Hagane, which are Clay Fighter is about $160 and Hagane is about $200 to $300. So this isn't nearly worth as much as that, but it was going for about $50 on eBay when I got it, and they were asking for $25, but I offered them $20 because the back of it had that blockbuster giant sticker on it, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to buy a game to replace the backs to it, so I got them to knock it down $5. So this is the replaced back here. So thankfully with the Nintendo 64 cartridges, they're all the same as long as it's the same color, so it's a really easy way to talk somebody down in price if you just mention the bad condition of the back of a cartridge, saying, this is really crappy condition, I don't know, and then you can get them to knock it down a few dollars, and then you can buy a sports game for like $1 to switch out the backs. So that's what I did. So I got this almost as like an investment because Blockbuster exclusive titles can get really valuable. Now, not all of them do, but Blitz was actually a solid enough game where I think that over time, if the copies kind of dwindle as far as what's available, this could get driven up in price, which I'm hoping because I've got one. So moving on next, I hit up a play and trade in Londonderry, and I picked up this Hey You Pikachu for $3. The game is basically worthless unless you get the Nintendo VRU with a microphone, because it's like a Tamagotchi pet almost, but, Pikachu. So you're supposed to talk to it and stuff like that. Alright, so moving on, I actually got something at GameStop. Now, I usually don't give GameStop my business because, one, I don't trade in my games ever because the prices that you get for most trade-ins are terrible. And 2, I work at a retail store where that I get a discount, so any new games, I just buy there and save money. But GameStop has a really awesome feature where if you go on their site, you can look for a game that has been discontinued for a while, like PlayStation 2, GameCube. I don't know if they have regular Xbox. I think they stopped selling that way too long ago in order to do that. But even like newer generation rare games like Walk It Out, GameStops are carrying them. So they have a really cool feature where you look for a game. Of course, it'll show not available online, but you can actually check the store to see if they show it. Which is nice for rare games. So I went to the GameStop and I got Dot Hack Infection with the Liminality disc, or the Liminality DVD. So I was actually trying to get the Dot Hack GU Infection. They were going to ask $30 for it. They couldn't find it though. I think it's about $50 on eBay, even loose. And that's the thing about GameStop that really sucks, is that they take the DVD cases and they throw them away for the PS2 games. So what I ended up doing is I asked for 2 generic DVD cases because they have those lying around their back rooms. So then I printed out these covers that I got from the cover project, and I just Googled for this one. So Dot Hack Infection was one of my most favorite series back on the PS2 when I was a kid. I didn't even beat the first one though, but I rented it like 6 times or something like that. Wouldn't you know, the games that I like end up being some of the most valuable for PlayStation 2. So this next one comes from a Savers up in Manchester that I went to, and it was Metal Gear Solid Greatest Hits. Now, it cost me $10, which probably would have liked it to be a little bit cheaper. Some of their prices aren't the best over at that one. They have the higher prices for stuff. If this was Black Bar, I would have paid that all day, every day. But I still went for this just because it's still a solid game. Comes with the book, which is nice, and now I've got Metal Gear 1, 2, and 3. Got that there. And then last but not least is the Savers in Nashua that I went to, that I got 2 pretty good games at. They get picked over pretty quickly at that location. They do get a lot of good stuff though, so sometimes people miss stuff. So the first thing I got was Taito Legends for $3. This is basically a compilation disc of arcade games like Space Invaders, Bubble Bobble, Operation Wolf, etc. So this one goes for about $12 to $15 online. So $3, I was gonna get it. So there's that right there. And then probably one of the biggest finds that I've found since thrifting, which is embarrassing to say because you're gonna laugh when you see this, but Barbie Wild Horse Adventures. Now, this is probably the best deal that I've found because I got this for $3, and I know you're laughing at me right now, but hear me out. This is actually one of the top 5 rarest games on Rarity Guide for Xbox. They put it above Conquer, Live, and Reloaded. Sealed, I see this going for $90, and complete, I see it going around $50. So this has the case and the disc. It has no booklet. There's no way I'm going to be keeping this. The only thing that this is really valuable to is to people who are going for complete sets. I'm just going to throw this online and see what I can get for it. And put that towards more games. But it's funny just because there are a lot of people that kind of clean out all of the games from that store, and I feel like everybody just, glanced right over this game because who would ever think that a Barbie would be valuable. But if you ever come across this version, not the PlayStation 2, that's only worth about $20. This one, even without the booklet, this is still probably worth about $30. So if you come across this, buy it if the price is right, you know what I mean? So that'll do it for this video retro haul. I got some really good games that I'm going to get a lot of enjoyment out of, and I got to pick up a stupidly rare game at the same time. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and until my next one, this is Steggy, and I will catch you guys later.